Hi, this is Debbie and welcome to Book and Bujo. It is time for my November Plan With Me. So let's start with a flip through of October, which we're still only partway through the month. I'm filming this a little early, so there'll be some blanks, but that's okay. So I have my quote page and my verse of the month. Getting my calendar filled up with all of my teas and other things that are happening. My gratitude page, got one side done already. We have my habits and cleaning tracker, my exercising, tracking my devos, and my TBR for the month. Didn't quite fill out my intentions this month. I may still actually get to that, but we'll see. And then I have my weather tracker down here. I have all of my weeklies. So those I am using really well this month. You can see where we are in the month because everything else is kind of blank. And then this will be my reflections at the end of the month. And then I did a little fun doodle when I was under quarantine after returning from New York, and I didn't have very many supplies with me, just what I had taken with me on my trip, so this is what came from it. And now let's move into November. So my November theme for my moon series is the beaver moon. But as always, I start with one of my fun little moon post-it notes, and I will be putting that in. I already do all my cuts, so I did my cut my Dutch door, and then I cut my weeklies here in the back just to save a little time for you all. And let's get started. November is the beaver moon, which is named after beavers who can be seen preparing for winter, the time when they build their dams. It's also known as the frost moon, the freezing moon, the darkest depths moon, digging and scratching moon, and the whitefish moon. So I found this really fun font that was kind of a tree or wood themed font. And I thought I would do a variation on a theme with that for my November cover page. And November is known as the frost moon because bitter, hard frosts are more frequent during this month. I also thought I would pull out my Prismacolor colored pencils. It comes in this fun little case that becomes its own stand, which is nice, but I thought this had some great browns in it and some greens that I might be able to use for the trees and get a little bit better shading than my skill level with brush pens does. The full moon for November is on November 27th, and it is the last full moon of autumn. Some of the supplies that I'm using this month are my Prismacolor pencils in 904 and 1034 for the stream, and I'm also using a variety of my Ohuhu markers, number 46 for this one, and that one the number's rubbed off, so I'm not quite sure. I pull out a few more of my Prismacolored pencils in 943 and 947 for the wood to make the beaver dam. And then I also end up using my gray mild liner for some of the mountains in the background. And then again, a few more Ohuhu markers, and I'm sure I will pull in quite a few others in some of the green tones to make the trees in the background. I was trying to decide what I wanted to do for my beaver moon. I thought about maybe just putting some buck teeth on the moon itself and just finding a fun quote for my cover page, but I'm like, no, that's not quite enough. And I remembered that it's part of the beaver moon it's the time period when beavers are creating their dams. And I thought, well, that might be kind of fun. Let's do a stream with a beaver dam going in there and then put a cutesy little beaver in there. And so that's what I decided to do for my cover page. I also use my Aqua Spectrum Noir markers in the leaf green and I believe in the marigold. I also threw in a couple of my Staedtler dual tip markers in a couple of different shades of browns for the trees. And I do love a pine tree forest, so I couldn't resist putting that on my cover page as well as some mountains in the background. The quote I used for my cover page is by Sarah Addison Allen, and it says, "It looked like the world was covered in a cobbler crust of brown sugar and cinnamon." Now that the cover page is done, let's move on to my monthly calendar page. I'm continuing the theme of my cover page onto my monthly calendar page so that when the Dutch door is closed, it looks like one full page, and then when you open it, it still has a nice little foresty mountain scene. always nice to know you have some correction tape on hand when you make a little mistake in your calendar page. I also pulled out one of my Sarasa gel pens in the vintage brown color to help me out with the days of the week on my monthly calendar page. Now, one of my favorite verses has always been Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, which is trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. But most people don't keep reading and remembering that Proverbs 3 verses 7 and 8 are also amazing. So those are my verses for November. And they are, be not wise in your own eyes, fear the Lord, and turn away from evil. It will be healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones. For my memory verse, I used my Pentel Touch and Pentel Sign pens, as they are a nice small brush pen. For the quote on my calendar page, it is by an unknown author, and it says, November, the last month of autumn, but the beginning of a new adventure. Time to take risks and do the unexpected. Now for my monthly spreads. I pulled my colored pencils out again and did a fun little beaver that I thought was just adorable for my gratitude page. And then my quote is, living in a state of gratitude is the gateway to grace by Ariana Huffington. My habits and cleaning trackers are pretty much the same as they have been the last couple of months, and I just added some fun washi tape to give it a little bit of decoration. For my exercise tracker this month, I am going to be working out with Chloe Ting videos, and I will leave her channel linked below in case you want to check her out. And then I had a lot of fun. I found so many quotes for November that I wanted to include in my bullet journal, so I ended up having to do just a couple pages of the quote itself, and I had a lot of fun with my washi tapes and cutting them out around a circle with the quote in the center, and that was a lot of fun, and I think it turned out really well. My quote is from Cynthia Ryland, and it says, "In November, the trees are standing all sticks and bones. Without their leaves, how lovely they are, spreading their arms like dancers. They know it is time to be still." Most of the washi tapes that I used in this spread I got for Christmas, and they were gifts, so I'm not actually sure where they're from. If I can find them, I will link them down below. That glitter washi tape that I used at the top and the bottom, and then again in the middle, was just so beautiful and just a perfect color for November. For this next page, I found another quote, and this one is from ourmindfullife.com, and they have some great inspirational quotes on their website. And it's things to keep doing this November. So the first one, keep speaking your mind. Keep doing good for others. Keep living wholeheartedly. Keep doing what's best for you. Keep chasing your dreams. And keep being your authentic self. And I thought that was great advice for November. And I pulled all the different colors from November that I had been using in my spreads and put them here. I got this productivity sticker book a couple of Christmases ago from my mom, and I've slowly been using it over the years, and I was able to find some of the stickers that worked really well for my devos. So the top half is my devotionals, and the bottom half I again put my memory verse for the month. And I used my new carousel fountain pen from Ferris Wheel Press to put my memory verse in. And also, I realized that the sun was starting to go down and I was losing a lot of my light. So I realized that, and I closed my curtains and pulled out my light. So hopefully you'll be able to see better in the next few spreads as I set up my weeklies. And of course, I had to add yet another quote since I found so many for November, which were great. And I used Welcome Sweet November, the Season of Senses, and My Favorite Month of All by Gregory F. Lenz. And I couldn't stop there. I had to put yet another one. So the other quote is by Henry Rollins, and it says, "The month of November makes me feel that life is passing more quickly. In an effort to slow down, I try to fill the hours more meaningfully." And then at the bottom of my page, I just added, to go with that quote, what can I do to make this month more meaningful? And then I'll add some things in there, and hopefully I will be able to get to those as I go through November. And again, for my weeklies, like usual, I do put my weather tracker down at the bottom. And then I decided I wanted a little more room, and I just put 2 days per page on my weeklies. So we'll see how that goes this month, but it was fun making the tabs. Not all of them are quite the same size or width, but you know what? I'm okay with that. Sometimes in life things happen, and that's okay. And for my weeklies, I'm putting my tasks at the top of the section. The middle portion will be any events that I have, appointments, things like that. And then at the bottom, I'm going to put my intentions. So I have some intention cards that I've made, and I pick one each day and I use that for my intention. So like today, I chose, today I will dare greatly. And then, so that's kind of my word of the day, so to speak. And then my intention is, through Christ, I am strong, gentle, fierce, and compassionate. And to keep track of the ones I pull for each day, I am going to be adding it to my weeklies. I decided to add a playlist to my weeklies this month as well, as we are helping to lead worship a couple times a month at our church, and this way I can have a memory of the different songs that we did when we helped to lead worship. At the end of my weeklies, I am adding November Thoughts and Memories page so I can remember what happened during the month, and then another quote, of course. "Some of the days in November carry the whole memory of summer as a fire opal carries the color of moonrise." That's by Gladys Tabor. And now for a final flip through.